when I'm overwhelmed with everything that's happening in our communities and in the world in general, whether it's a health crisis or a struggling economy or a lot of other things, I keep reminding myself that basically I'm an optimist at heart, even when I'm having a bad day. And the definition of optimism for me is not necessarily about being hopeful or operating with wishful thinking, but it's more about being welcoming and open to the uncertainty of the future. I believe that we all have an opportunity to shape what's next, to shape what's ahead, and I usually thrive in times of crisis because I'm absolutely confident that things do get better and the world does get better, and we should not give up the game before all the cards have been played. And the metaphor is deliberate because I absolutely believe that life and business is a gamble, and we all play not to foreclose, but for a chance of winning. And to play is basically an act to create at least a possibility of changing the outcome and changing the future and changing the world. And although I don't really consider myself an entrepreneur in the strictest sense of having created a business or having birthed a company, I do have an entrepreneurship mindset in everything that I do. So, what does this mean? An entrepreneur is someone who can operate autonomously, has a strong sense of purpose, and also they're flexible enough to maneuver, to pivot, to change when things don't go as planned. For all the teams and the groups that I managed in my 20 plus year career in complex, large, highly matrix type of enterprise organizations like Microsoft and Google, I've always been able to identify and zero in on the problem that needs to be solved. And I think that's the beginning of something, understanding who is on the other side, who is the consumer, who is the customer, what are their pain points, what are their friction areas, what are they trying to accomplish, what is their vision, and identifying and working on a solution, engaging the right stakeholders internally and externally to solve that problem and delight the customer. The reason why I've decided to join Women Entrepreneurs Global is to provide equity for female founders and level the playing field. Because what we currently see is a huge discrepancy between the number of women owned businesses and the funding that gets distributed. And we've seen, for example, that in the past 10, 12 years, the number of women owned businesses has increased by more than 100%, which is great, at a rate 3 times higher than the national average, which is great. But growth in funding for women entrepreneurs has not kept pace with the growth in other types of support. Right now, for example, while we see more than 80% of women entrepreneurs in the US feel more empowered than they did, 5 or 10 years ago, which is again great, more than half of them, 65% of them, still report difficulty in obtaining funding, which is essential and crucial so that they can grow their business and be successful. And that's the reason why I think platforms and services like We Global are really, really important and critical in providing these female founders with the right resources, with access to funding, networking opportunities, so that we can help them grow. And through my experience working and supporting female founders, either through my work at Microsoft, at Google, or through We Global, I've noticed a couple of common threads across successful entrepreneurs, and that goes across, male or female. So it's really gender agnostic. First of all, is having the right vision, and it sounds like the simplest thing, but I truly believe that it's essential, and it's the North Star for every successful business to have a very clear vision of what this business is, what it should be, what it will be, and uh, and being able to concisely articulate the purpose, the goal, the market position, basically the who, the what, the where, the why of the business. Because this will basically differentiate you from everyone else in the business, and it will help you attract the right customer and the right funding partner on the other hand. The second piece is absolutely essential as well. It's confidence. Successful entrepreneurs have confidence in themselves personally and also in their business, in their vision. They 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 must believe in their ability to succeed and drive growth with their idea. And the challenge is that every entrepreneur will face rejection more than once, several times along the way, but the successful ones will have the confidence to keep going and bounce back after a major setback. Another piece that I've seen over and over again, which is again very essential, is the willingness and the ability to ask and accept help. An entrepreneur by design needs to be a jack of all trades. And usually they're all spread thin, doing a lot of different things. The successful ones know their limitations and they realize that they can't be anywhere at all times and they can't do everything. So they are willing to delegate to others. By being willing to ask for help, you're able to diversify your resources, you're able to really amplify the resources that you have, and you can get to a successful outcome much faster and also in a safer way. The last piece that I noticed is resilience. So no matter how successful your business is, there will be bumps along the way, more bumps than you probably have anticipated. And a successful entrepreneur is resilient and can bounce back for these setbacks. These setbacks are not failures and they're not a death penalty, but they're an opportunity to learn and grow. And it's important to understand that failure is absolutely part of the game and part of the overall growth and an essential part of the overall success.